All right, what's going on, everyone? My name's Captain Crush. I'm going to be your host for the next few minutes. I'm going to break down this 3-game WNBA slate. Yes, we have 3 WNBA games today, thank God. Yesterday, I did some MLB content. I flew through it, and it went 1 for 2. Listen, it's very important that you listen to the words in the video and don't just skip through to the picks. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed because I literally said not to play Gray because it's a public play, and yet a lot of you misunderstood me. So I will try to be crystal clear. But that being said, it still wasn't a good day for those 3 MLB. Yesterday, I gave out 10 plays in my dub club. I went 5 of 10 for 50%. That's how some days are, fam. Especially on a day when there's only MLB and there's no other big public sports for the lines makers to focus on. That being said, it's one day. If you're making judgments about someone's skill level based off one day, uninstall PrizePicks. I'm doing you a favor. That being said, let's go ahead and break down PrizePicks today. All right, so first of all, I have a Taco Tuesday. We had Tyler Glasnow as our first. We have Alyssa Tomas as our second. By the way, side note, I mispronounce names on purpose, guys and girls. It is an ongoing joke in my community. I do it on purpose. It is what it is. If you don't like it, you don't have to fire up in the comment section and get all upset with me. It's an ongoing joke. Have a sense of humor, okay? Arike Ungumbuwali, okay? It's that simple. All right, let's move on, okay? So obviously my stance with the tacos is I take every single taco. It's that easy. Just more. There's 60 to 70% to hit. It's always like that. I take all the tacos. I don't fret. It is what it is, okay? We have Arike Ungumbawale today. I looked at her real points. I kind of like 24.5 over more. If we go to her stats on Outlier Bet, we can see that her last game she had 41. Complete Outlier. We're on Outlier Bet, and she had an Outlier game. Imagine that. Game before, 13. Game before, 25. Game before that, 35, 17, 8, 18, 21, 27, 26. Listen, in the last 5, she's hit it 60%. Last 10, 50%. Head-to-head only 25% of the time, but that accounts for last season as well. She's averaging 20 field goal attempts. She's making 9 3-point attempts per game, making 2.9. 9 3-point attempts per game. If she gets hot, she can slaughter this 24.5 point line anytime she chooses, fam. It's that easy, okay? Atlanta is ranked 10th in points allowed, okay? It should be a pace up spot for her. Vegas has it at minus 113, but I believe if you take under, it's minus 105, so it's pretty much a 50-50. Normally, I would avoid these, but I wanted to show you guys this anyway because it is going to be in my player pool. Captain, what's your player pool? My player pool is the list of props that I'm targeting for that day. That is one of them in there. I also like her assist. My model's telling me to take less. If this number was at 5, I would be hammering the assist less, but since it's at 4.5, I'll go ahead and take less still. Hopefully she doesn't get 5. I believe her range of outcomes is 3 to 5. I won't be surprised though if she goes ahead and does get 5, but I will be taking less here and more there. That is my thoughts on Arike. Jordan Canada, 6 assists. A lot of you guys were asking about this earlier. We got it at 5.5. Luckily, they bumped it up to 6, so now I will stay away. Want to talk about Alyssa Thomas, 7.5 assists. This is way higher than her season average. It should be less. I'm going to stay away because she's the taco. Fortunately enough, I don't have to worry about taking Alyssa Tomas assist today, but I would lean towards under there, okay? And for fantasy score, if you wanted to attack Alyssa Thomas first half fantasy score, because it is a 9.5 point spread, I don't hate that one bit, but again, she's the taco, so I'm rounding her out via Taco Tuesday. You dig what I'm saying right there? Nika Aguamike, 40 fantasy points. I like her fantasy point total to be more, but I'm going to say this. I also like her real points to go less. Crazy, right? Not that really, but I will be taking less here and more on her fantasy points if I throw them in a contest. Alicia Gray, 19.5 points. That's way too many points. I'm going to fade that. Miss Hamby here. Rebounds plus assists. Shout out to Asia for finding this. Digging in the dumpster to find value. That's what we're doing. Asia's a member of my community. She found this. She pulled it to my attention. Her rebounds have been fire. Her assists have been okay. Unfortunately, the team she's playing, they give up the least amount of rebounds. I believe they're third in rebounds. There's only 12 WNBA teams, but there is no last 5 on these. You'd have to look manually, but it is a decent prop. It does have a lot of push equity, so I'm mentioning it that I would take more. I want to take a second and talk about the community darlings. Satao Sabali, 21.5 points, and Nafisa Collier, where's she at? Did she get removed? Oh no, there she is, 22 points. Both of these ladies have potential to score this, and more. Okay, my models have them projected for more. Nafisa in my model is projected for 22.5. Satao Sabali is projected for 24 real points. That is just a model. There's only been 10 games this season, so I can't really go off of it. There's only 36 WNBA games, so I want to wait till it's about 15 games before I start making better decisions on this type of stuff. I will say this, 21 and 22 points is a lot for anybody in the NBA, especially the WNBA. So my gut and my instincts just tell me to take less, but more importantly, I'm just going to fade the prop. I know a lot of people are on these. Their lines are way high. If they were down to between like 19 and 20 for both of them, I'd be smashing the overs. But at these two, I'm just going to fade it, but I wanted to give my take on that. Folks, I'm not here to give you definitively one way or the other on certain plays, unless it's just something that I have a gut read on and I'm going to absolutely tell you like, hey, make sure you're taking this. My goal is to give you the arguments for both sides, because that is what you need. If you want to just find a YouTube person to feed you picks, to spoon feed you picks, they're 90% of the time going to lose. Okay. You need to be learning. This is a hobby. Imagine putting money on something that you know nothing about. Take the 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day and invest in yourself, invest in your hobby. That's good life advice, and that's good advice for this. Invest in learning the process. And a YouTuber like me, that's what I'm here for. And those of you that have been following me since the jump, you already know that. And if you're a real day one, you 100% know how I roll and operate. So miss me with the nonsense. If you do want just plays and that's all you want, I have a Discord where I provide that service. But even then, I don't just give them plays. I force them into classrooms that makes them learn the process. I do live stage chats on the daily where we discuss process. I had a 3-hour one today, which is why this video is out so late, because that's priority. Teaching my soldiers in my community the process, because I actually care about them winning long term. Day-to-day results mean nothing to me, okay? Anyone can get lucky. I want to see how you did at the end of the year. I want to see the $10.99 that you have to pay because you had such a good year, you're paying taxes on your wins. Then you can talk to me about picks, okay? So we move forward. 11 rebounds. That means she needs 12 to cash you. That's crazy. 12 rebounds? It seems crazy, right? But let's take a look at her last 5 and we can look at the ceiling. 7, 13, 11, 16, 10. So just by looking at that, it doesn't tell you the full story. The full story is told in knowing the game and watching the game and seeing what happened. And we, on a live stream, were watching this game. Howard came out and grabbed all her rebounds. Satao Sabali was the one scoring instead of grabbing rebounds. It was crazy. She was imposing her will, driving in the paint, and then it turned into a blowout. So it's not that big of a deal, but I will say this, okay? She has a 15 rebound ceiling anytime she's on the court. She can grab 15, she can grab 9. Her range of outcomes is going to be anywhere on average between 9 and 15. So if you want to take a chance and take more here, I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. I wish it was at 10. Again, the lines makers are doing the good job. They only have 3 games to break down. They're limiting their exposure of who they're putting on the board, and I would say 11 is right where she should be. I know this was a community favorite, so that's why I'm mentioning it. Again, it's critical that you listen to the words coming out of my mouth. If you're watching the video and just clicking the mouse, skipping ahead to try to see where I go more or less, you're never going to win, because I don't do it like that, okay? And with that in mind, let's talk about Brianna Jones. Points, rebounds, 24.5. I actually had her fantasy score last time at 34.5. They bumped it to 35. Today, I turned it on. It's 35. Now, her points, rebounds, 24.5. It's a nice number. I liked it. My model had it projected to go over. I went ahead and took more here. If you want to ride with her fantasy, you can. She got 4 turnovers last game, which is why she sold. Fortunately, every time you get a turnover, it's -1. I want to say this though. Alyssa Thomas is on that team. It's a 9.5 point spread, their favor, so they could come out there and blow out Seattle, no sweat. This is the caveat here, okay? If Alyssa Thomas decides to go off and hog the ball out like a Jason Tatum-esque type performance where she just hogs the ball, doesn't give it to anyone, Brianna Jones is going to suffer for that. So that is a risk that we take, but I'm still taking more here. I have that in a lot of my contests. I'm taking it, and hopefully it pans out for me. Now I want to talk about Cheyenne Parker. Her line has normally been at 32.5 fantasy points. Now it's at 33. I had been taking less at 32.5, and she had been barely covering. Check it out. 35, 27, 32.7. I remember that in the last 15 seconds, she grabbed a garbage time rebound. She cashed the other way. Connecticut 39.8, New York Liberty 23.4. Model has her going exactly for 33 fantasy points. I wanted to mention that. I could see her going, if I was going to take this, I would take less. But if you guys have a read and want to take more, that's fine with me too, okay? Jordan Canada, 31 fantasy points. Model projects her for 26. I sat right here in this very chair a couple days ago. It was at 30. My model projected it to go less then, and I said, no, I'm taking more. I took it, and I got burned. She literally is one of those players that's always a sweat. It's always going to come down to the wire. You never know what she's going to do. She disappears at half, and I said that word for word, but we'll have to wait and see what Miss Canada decides to do. If you want to take more, I could see you going that way, but for Captain Crush, it's just a full fade. I faded it, okay? Jewel Lloyd, 37.5 fantasy score. Her fantasy score is directly tied to her ability to score buckets. So if she comes out tonight, she shoots 3 times, bang, splish, splash, all 3 find the net, we're in trouble. Because why? I got less here. I got less. And I think that she's going to score around 18 to 20 points, maybe have 4 rebounds, maybe have 3 assists, and that's not enough to get 37.5. I'm hoping that she gets blown out of the water because Alyssa Thomas and Brianna Jones just decided to go Captain Crush and destroy that team. That's what I'm hoping. But I can't say that that's a guaranteed to happen, but I did take less on Jewel Lloyd, 37.5. I have her projected for 33 fantasy points. And then everyone's favorite, Ezzy Magabor, but I'm going to call her Ezzy Magbeggar because that's way more funny. And she's at 39 fantasy points. Folks, she was at 34.5 literally a game ago. We all had more on her. She cashed for us. It was a sweat. It looked like she was going to sell, but she ended up getting 37. Game before that, 42. Game before that, 34, 44, 39.5. I've never seen a line in NBA, I've seen this in WNBA, where one day they're 34 and then just one game later, it's 4 or 5 points higher without injuries or anything. That is crazy. That tells me that Vegas doesn't really know what to do yet. And if Vegas doesn't know what to do, we are going to struggle finding out what to do. So if you want to take more here and just hope that she continues to crush, she does have a high fantasy point per minute. So you can continue to do that. I want to show you guys something real quick too about Ezzy. Her blocks and steals prop earlier was at 4.5 blocks and steals. That's absolute madness. Joker, David, none of those guys have ever had that high of a prop. 4.5. It's bumped down to 4, thankfully. But look, she had 5 last game, won the game before that, 5, 7, 3. She has a 7 blocks and steals ceiling in the WNBA. It's absolutely absurd. Someone mentioned it earlier, so I wanted to address this. Even though I like her to get a lot of blocks and steals, I will never ever take more on 4 blocks and steals when it's in a game. It's just way too many. It's way too variance. It's way too much of a variable. Try to predict that. 5 blocks and steals in a game. If it happens, great. Just take her fantasy score. You don't need to take that particular prop. That's insane to try to predict. Okay? I want to do one last thing and talk about Kayla McBride. Her rebound was at 5. We got it at 5, thankfully. It's now bumped down to 4.5. I took less, but I want to show you guys something. I believe the original line was at 5.5, which she had never got before. Okay, so here I have Outlier Bet open, and the line is now switched to under 4.5. Okay, now you can see in the last 10, 50%, last 20, 75%, her range of outcomes is 3 to 5 rebounds. I had her at 5, taking less. It's because she needed 6 to beat you, so it's most likely going to be a push. If it was 5.5, if you were lucky enough to get it in at 5.5, you got a steal. That would be an automatic less. But at 4.5, I could make the argument to take more than 4.5, because now she only has to get 5. So you could still have less than 5 and more at 4.5 and still win, because if she gets 5, you would push one and cash the other. I just wanted to point this out because I do sometimes do that with lines, especially on Sleeper. I don't really do it on PrizePicks, but on Sleeper, it is something with MLB that I do frequently. If someone's at 8.5 on Sleeper, I'll take him. Let's say, for example, Strider, the pitcher. If he's at 8.5 on Sleeper, I'll take more. But if he's at 9 strikeouts on PrizePicks, I'll take less, okay? Or I'll just fade the prop entirely. I don't always do that, but I just wanted to mention it because this particular one was at 5.5, then it went to 5. Now it's at 4.5, and I did mention this in my Dub Club / Discord earlier that it was going to get bumped, and I'm glad to finally see that it did. Okay, so here we are on Underdog, where I wanted to cover 5. I didn't forget about my Underdog family. I do sleeper, Underdog, PrizePicks, you name it, I do it. I value shop. Rin Howard, higher 4.5 rebounds. I like it. Aguamike, less than 20 real points. She's at 19 on PrizePicks. I'm taking less there. I'm taking less here as well. Brianna Jones, they didn't have her PRA, so I'm just taking her. They didn't have her points rebounds, so I'm just taking her PRA, higher 27.5. Jewel Lloyd, lower 24.5 real points. And last, Kayla McBride, the person I just spoke about, she's at 5 over here still. I will take less here, and at worst, I think she pushes. And that is my Underdog contest for today. Listen, if you use promo code CRUSH, if you're not on Underdog, they're going to match you 100%. Plus, if you use the code and DM me, folks, you have to DM me. I have no other way to know. DM me and I'll give you a free 30-day trial into my Discord/Dub Club, which is where I do all my plays and, more importantly, my classroom teachings, etc., teaching you the process. That is the goal there, okay? Now, one more thing about Underdog. Make sure you insure your slip. Make sure to insure. You like that? Please, I'm begging you, just go ahead and insure the slip. Unless you're doing around $5 and you just want to go for that 20x, ride that. That's completely fine with me. I won't begrudge you a bit, okay? Now, one last thing before I wrap this up. I want to talk about Sleeper. Folks, I had a lot of people in the comments say that they're not fast with payouts. They are the fastest website when it comes to payouts, folks. I literally push withdrawal, I blink, and the money is in my real bank account. That is clutch whenever you're dealing with these. You want to get your money as fast as you can deposit. You want to be able to cash out. Their first withdrawal that you do, it's a little bit longer because they do a bank verification method. It takes about 3 to 5 days. After that, every time you do a withdrawal, you can do one every 24 hours. It's literally instant, okay? If you're verified, it's instant. You have to be verified. However, I put together a little 2-piece McNugget for you here. It's a 2.5x or 2.6x payout. Eovaldi, less 6.5 strikeouts, and Montgomery, higher 4.5 strikeouts. If you look at either of these lines on PrizePicks, Montgomery's at 5, Eovaldi's at 6. I believe he's at 6 right now. So this is value. This is why I use Sleeper. I have a bunch of 2-mans and 3-mans placed with Sleeper. It's the place to be. Promo code CRUSH, folks. That's all you have to do. Promo code CRUSH. You'll get your first deposit matched. And on top of that, just like with Underdog, you're going to get a free 30 days into my Discord. You have nothing to lose. My Discord's only $24.99 a month as is, but you'll get a 30-day free trial. You can't beat it with a stick. All you have to do is promo code CRUSH and let me know, folks, so I can get you in there. I've had a lot of people coming in the last few days. I'm a man of my word. You'll get the golden ticket. All right, and that's the video, folks. That's all I got for you today. A 3 little WNBA game slate. I wanted to cover some stuff. I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. The Lord knows I do. You guys appreciate it. Like and subscribe. You know, do all the stuff that YouTubers ask you to do. Does any ever YouTuber not say that stuff? I appreciate the soldiers who are out there actually supporting me and appreciating me. Guys, you mean the world to me. The haters that come in my DMs and whatnot in my comments, you guys miss me with it. I'm going to get better about not letting you affect me. But on that note, I'm giving everyone a salute. And as always, let's crush.